What's up? What's up? No, it's a little late for some people, so we're gonna try to move fast on this one. Thank you for tuning. For those that don't know who I am, I'm Pasha Paro. And today's question, it's kind of like, I pose the question, does your value to the world outweigh your value to the few or a few? And I'll get to exactly what I mean in a second here. All right, cool. So I was scrolling, I'm a fan of everything, it's always the perfect day. Those that know me, they know that phrase well. So it's always the perfect day, right? So when I come across things like I was doing scrolling down the Facebook feed, and I seen this story on Kobe. Actually, it was YouTube. I was on YouTube. So I saw this little story on Kobe, and you get that, how you get that urge. Something just tells you this is for you. You know what I mean? Something says, check this out. So I watched it because I ain't really into sports like that. Most people know that about me. I spend a lot of my quote unquote free time doing something that'll hopefully get me more free time in the long run, right? So I kind of don't get to watch a lot of sports. No stats or anything like that. So the story on the Kobe situation was talking about how, like his parents, basically at some point in his early career, if you wanna, the link is on my page. Just go to my page, and you can view the video. It was a interesting story that I wasn't aware of, and maybe you guys already were. But it was talking about how his parents basically turned their backs on him early in his career, to the point where like they weren't speaking because of the choice in female that he made, right? And that kind of put such a strain on their relationship that they didn't even speak for years. And it went in to talk about how like that one championship, where people thought he was crying with the trophy or whatever in tears of joy, that it wasn't really tears of joy. It was tears of later on it comes out from him, per the story, that he was feeling bad about his father and the situation with his parents or whatever, because they actually were playing the 76ers that year in Philly, and his parents live in Philly, and they wouldn't even come to the game. So think about that for a moment. You spend, this is like we said a couple of days ago, people quick to judge, and they don't even know what your situation is, So you put in years, maybe decades of preparation, whether that's training, education, study, whatever you want, whatever it took you to mold yourself into who you needed to be to perform on the level of greatness that you have reached, right? Whatever that may be. And without even focusing on the variable of it being relative to his choice in women, let's just say for some reason people that you actually did it for. Think about it. Like I could imagine being an athlete and you know you're gonna be good, and probably at a young age your mentality is, I just want to make it to the big league so that I can do all this stuff for my family. You know what I'm saying? So I can come back and give to the community. So I can make a difference. I could imagine, I can relate to that feeling. And then you get there, right? Or let's say you're to put it closer to home for some people out there, you're getting close. Wherever you're at, you're going in the right direction. And the reasons that you really dug in deep and put all of this effort and energy and towards, the reasons you went through this gauntlet, you found your way through this maze, the labyrinth, the reason you swam across the ocean. Halfway through you're swimming across the ocean, they all find reasons to give up on you and walk away. So what the question is saying is, do you think you should give up an opportunity to change the world and to touch the world? Let's not even say you want to change it. Let's just say you want to touch the world, to make a difference. Think about all the people's lives around the world that Kobe Bryant has inspired in some way, shape, or form. What if he crumbled early on in his career to appease his parents? And let's just say, let's change the variable. I gave you that's the story that started it, but I'm an equation guy, not the variable. So let's just say the variable itself was something that would take him out of position to be who we know as Kobe Bryant today. Because people face this choice every day. You know what I'm saying? So let's say Kobe has to decide if he's going to make his parents happy or play for the NBA and make the world a better place. Remember, I'm giving the equation, so substitute whatever variable you want. Maybe it's not the NBA, maybe it's you becoming a doctor, maybe it's not, whatever you want to substitute. So what if Kobe has to make that choice? If he chooses to appease his parents, there's never a Kobe Bryant for the world. If he, like he does, choose to play and become one of the greatest players and does all these wonderful things for the world, inspiration, entertainment, community giving, etc., there's people out there still somewhere saying he didn't buy his parents a house or the house that they wanted. I just kind of want to know what y'all feel about that, because I don't have emotional attachments. Like, I don't have that. I'm more like a computer. What's up, white chocolate? Thanks for tuning in. It's always the perfect day. So I process a lot of things more like a computer. That's why you hear me say it's like an equation. I don't get caught up on the variables. Yeah, definitely with your music, White Chocolate. Especially in the beginning. I can dig where you're coming from with that, especially in the beginning, because you got a lot of people, you got a lot of resistance in the beginning. You can start anything, whether it's your music, you want to start a business. You see the memes on Facebook. We all see the memes. Say you want to, say you got the job, for example, you get 1,000 likes. Say you're starting your own business, nobody knows you. You know what I mean? That's what the average person goes through. So I'm taking this grand situation with this grand character, Kobe Bryant, and I'm showing you, this is my attempt to show you how this is the same equation that your neighbor's going through. Because people don't tend to associate with things until it happens to some big celebrity or some big name or some big company. Like the person next door to them ain't going through the same thing. So with your music or with your small business, you start that, and what we also got to understand is the entrepreneur spirit or the artist in the question is not always negative. Like I said, I'm not emotional, so I'm not gonna be biased about stuff. We gotta accept the equation that it's actually not always negative. We gotta accept the fact that what we're really seeing sometimes in these cases is there, for some reason they gave up on their dreams. Like, let's say your parents, and you're telling them you want to start a business or you're going to start writing music. Your friends too, quote unquote friends. I don't do titles, but let's say you say friends, right? They might have had the same dream, or they might have had a similar dream with a different variable. So they failed, right? And if you ever started something, for us that keep going, failure is a part of the process. But for some, failure stops them. They fail and they're like, oh my God, I failed. I'm a failure. I quit. And they have the whatever they want to call it, shame, embarrassment, pain. Rejection chemically registers to the brain the same as pain. There is no difference. It's a chemical reaction in your brain. So some people couldn't take the pain. So what happens is they remember the pain and they're afraid of the pain. And what they're actually trying to do, as painful as it is for us to hear it, is they're actually trying to talk you out of going through a similar process where you receive the same pain and or disappointment. So yeah, White Chocolate, I appreciate you bringing that up, because that's what's happening sometimes. So we have to accept that that's sometimes the case, and understand where they're coming from mentally, so we don't look at them in a negative light, because we can overstand the situation. Now, what we are disappointed about is that it's us, and we're like, yo, like we would support you. Just all I asked you to do is share. All I asked you to do was this. All I asked you to do was, did you know anybody that needed a haircut? I'm trying to start barbering. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, and that's free. And that's free. And then you watch them support everything and everybody else but you and your cause. And that's what's really bothering you. So what they're actually saying, though, in some cases, not all, some of them really just hating on you, and they want to be like, yo, you need to quit, because for various reasons. But I just wanted to put that out there, because it's not always a negative thing. And I think us as a community and as entrepreneurs and as artists, we need to spread that information in the community as well, because a lot of the pain that we're feeling starting a business or being artists especially in the beginning, is that rejection from the people you're actually trying to conquer the world for. You're the one out here trying to conquer the whole world to bring back peace and well being to the people that gave up on you. Then when they finally recognize that, you know, your perseverance pays off, like in the Kobe's case, they said he bought him a few houses over time, and then they wanted a house in, I think it was Vegas, and like it just wasn't good enough. The one that he got him. I mean, could you imagine you Kobe? You know you're gonna drop like what, at least probably $500,000 on a crib, and the people that was talking shit about you and didn't want to talk to you for a decade, now all of a sudden telling you the house you want to give them ain't good enough. Like, what would that feel like? You know what I mean? You was up late while they was asleep. You was practicing. They, you know, all them days, all them years. That you get attacked outside every day about your dreams. Who, you know what I'm saying? Your goals and the people that you're actually wanting to change life for halfway through it or sometime into it, they all turn their back on you because you're not doing what they want you to do. Yeah, peace, fam. Send me some links, white chocolate. I'll share them. Like, just, and people that know, you know, people that are on my page, they know, like, just because I don't share the stuff on my page don't mean I'm not sharing it in groups behind the scenes, and so to speak, and stuff like that, because I actually have a strategy and tactics that I'm using on my, like, my Facebook page is marketing. That's what I'm on here for. This is brand awareness. I'm not on here trying to get likes. I mean, I hope that you like my product, but I'm not on here for that. I'm not really on here to be like nosy in other people's lives. I'm looking for people that have stuff that they're doing that maybe I can help. Maybe I could help by sharing. Maybe I could help by, you know, collaboration in our businesses and brands. And you know, I'm not on here telling too many jokes because I'm like a computer. They don't understand Virgo humor half the time anyway. But you know, that's what I'm on here for. So just because you don't see me sharing it on my page, ask the people, you know, around me, or you'll see it in the groups. I'm sharing other people's stuff all the time. So it's kind of, and then, so it's very disappointing when somebody you were very supportive of starts to see now you getting traction or something, or just maybe they didn't happen to notice that, but like that wasn't the reason, but now they want you to, they're going to ask you to share something when if they were there the whole time with you, they wouldn't have to ask you to share, you know? So yeah, what I wanted to really get into is that feeling, man. That feeling is such a black hole. Like I didn't expect to see the story when I sat down, you know. But I could definitely relate to it. It made me think about all of you, because I know all of you that's ever trying to do anything different for yourself is going through the same thing. And I wanted you to know that you're not alone, you know? And if you listen to my music, it actually has some pain relief in it for those people, because I myself is in one of them. I think we all can say we've experienced this in some way, shape, or form. You know? So you peace Joseph Mitchell. So you lose your mother. You lose your father, but they're still there. But they're not there. You lose your kids. You know? It's a lot of single family situations out here, and it's not always the negative reason that you want to believe because of stereotypes. You know, sometimes, I remember being a kid, and my father was the type that had a cell phone, but would turn it off until he needed it. I mean, like, power it off until he needed it. So, like, when you would call on Tuesday, you literally might not hear back from him until Saturday. And it wasn't really because he was, I mean, like I say, it's power the phone off. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Send a smoke signal? It wasn't until I got old enough to, like, travel by automobile that I could just pull up on them when I wanted to, and then the phone didn't matter. So, but you got kids today that actually would rather pretend they don't have parents. They would rather pretend they don't exist. And then when I look back at my life, right, I'm like, yo, look at your life too. Like, you all gone through stuff coming up, kids to teenagers to young adults to wherever you're at now. And at those moments in your life in the past, you were really angry because whatever reason, and you felt like your life was the most horriblest life in the world, right? And I'm not saying that to say that it was or wasn't. I'm just saying, like, you might have really been going through like real terrible tragic stuff, or you could have just not got the PlayStation you wanted, or the way we probably had Nintendos back then and Segas and stuff, when you wanted it. So you might have felt like it was the worst life in the world. Whatever it was for you. I'm trying to just make this for everybody. Maybe you couldn't be outside when others were outside. Maybe you didn't have a home to come home to. Whatever it was, right? You gotta respect that made you who you are today. If you've spent any time on my page, you'll see from time to time, you'll see me, I posted a picture. What's this? 2019 April. We're talking 5.5 years ago. I was sleeping on the floor on a pile of clothes of somebody else's house, paying $400 a month rent. Right? They offered me a futon, but I didn't want it. Or what is it called? A futon? The little couch thing that folds out to a bed or whatever. They offered me that, but I didn't want it because I wanted to use the situation of sleeping on the floor as motivation to never have to do that again. The point I'm trying to make is this. The stuff that you went through in your life, you were supposed to go through and experience. Or let me ask you in a question form, because I'm trying to be better at communication. I'm working on my communication skills, my PR skills. So, what if everything you went through in life was designed for you to become exactly who you are today? The reference I have is everybody assumes that the past controls the future. Because this happened in the past, it left these options to become a reality and what would have then at that time been the future now. You have to accept the possibility that equation might be a two-way street. The future might also be in contact with the past. The quote that reflects that is, all time affects all time, all of the time. I know you're like, well, I mean, some of you might be like, well, peace for everybody that's with me, because what that means then, right? Because you'll hear me say often, the hardest part of having any wisdom is constantly remaining disciplined to the knowledge. So if that's correct, if you got statements that's true, like Hov say, you are who you were before you got here, whatever, you know what I'm saying. Don't be laughing at me because I ain't Hov. But you know what I'm saying? Like the theory of you were who you are before you even got here. Like if you have faith in the Most High, whatever you connect with, if you have that and you have faith and then doesn't all time exist in one moment to the Creator? So when you were born, before you were born, doesn't the Creator already know who you're gonna become? So if that's the case, then that means that the future could also be talking to the past. Which is why you may be going down your path, right? And then you go to church. The people that go to church hear this. They can tell you this in their own different ways. And I'm not it's no assault on the church people. I'm just saying, they'll be like, "Yeah, you got off track." And I call on the Most High. You just plug in the variable, whatever it is, he or she to you, and we'll just rock with that. So you got off path, and the Most High stripped you of everything, took it all away, picked you up, put you back on the path, because the destination was already known. So I've said all that little last part there, the little last segments there, to say I have this saying called "It's always the perfect day." And that's my Campbell Soup condensed version of the law of attraction. And there's things that challenge that sometimes, but it always remains true. So if you're a parent out there that for whatever reason you don't have your child with you, I want you to consider for a moment that it may be by design. That child may be supposed to become something that they had to go through something else other than what you would have provided them. Whether that's good or bad, better or worse. Because people want you to feel bad so they can feel better. And if it's always the perfect day, and if the Most High knows the future and creates the now, then you're exactly where you're supposed to be no matter what your situation is. Kobe was in exactly the situation he was supposed to be. Part of what he went through had to go into making the fire in him to give him the killer Mamba instinct. And because everything was ripped from him, he had nothing else to do but be great. Work on being better. Thanks, Joseph. Right, white chocolate. What doesn't kill us make us stronger. That's all of us. And yeah, we do have the power to change our future. I'm a fan of the Simon Sinek destination speech. If you're not really, look at that. Like I said, I put some of that energy in the song Stats for y'all. Right, haters gonna hate. So Simon Sinek said that he was talking about this study thing they did, right? He was talking about a lot, but in this example, he was talking about this study thing, right? And they had these people in a room, and what they said was the rule is you have to go to a point in the room, and you can only use straight lines. That was the rule. You have to walk there using straight lines only. And what they found was, if they let the people pick the point, like, okay, we want you to pick a point in the room, go there using straight lines. And they were like, well, where do you want me to go? No, you pick, you decide. When they just randomly pick on their own, okay, I'm gonna go this way. They start walking. They slid a chair in front of them, right? And they would either stop, like come to a halt, stop, in confusion, like I don't know what to do now, and or they would change direction and go a different way in a straight line, trying to adhere to the rules. However, when they were assigned a destination, I want you to go to that corner. When they knew their destination and they started walking and they slid the chair in front of them, they stepped over the chair, they went around the chair, they moved the chair out the way. The chair didn't stop them. So what that surmised is that when you know your destination, it's easier to overcome the obstacles. So you got to know your destination. And that white chocolate is what gives you the power to change your future, because you might decide you want to change your destination. And that is changing your future. And at the same time, you got to consider that it might have been at that moment in your life that you were supposed to make that decision, because in reality, your future destination was already chosen for you. And at that moment, when you thought you decided to change the direction, you really just decided to accept your destiny. What if a lot of us spend a lot of our life fighting our destiny? We got a feeling and a thought of what we're supposed to do, but we're too busy trying to fit in and be accepted, and we fall victim to normative social influences. Is what you can bring to the world less valuable than what the few want you to bring to them? I need my community to start thinking like that. I need y'all to ask yourselves, is making these 5 people feel better about me worth more than making an impact on the world? You might lose your spouse. I'm not, for those that are married, I'm just saying. Please explain, white chocolate. What I'm getting at is what I started off with. Like, what if Kobe Bryant said in some way, shape, or form that he's going to not play basketball to make his parents happy? What if what if Abraham Lincoln said, I'm not going to run for president? And I'm not using this, don't get on me about what he really did or didn't do. I'm just saying, Abraham Lincoln, Obama, even Trump. You know what I'm saying? What if they didn't do what they are because they mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, the person next door, they wanted to make them feel better. They wanted to make them happy. And they sacrificed everything they actually done in the world What if for those Christians, what if Jesus Christ said, you know what? You guys are right. My mom said I was crazy. I'm going to go at home and have some bread and fish. You see what I mean? Like, you got to look at every choice you make with that potential impact or disaster. Everybody, White Chocolate just shared his SoundCloud. Go ahead in your free time and take a listen to that. Check them out. Show that some support. So I just, that's all I really was getting at. Thanks for tuning in with me. I appreciate y'all. Till the next time. It's Pasha Pyro. Hold on, let me see here. Did I miss anything? I just see some more comments. Okay, what's good? I think I got them all. I'm trying to be better at this, guys. Thanks for tuning in. It looks like I got everything. Appreciate you. Enjoy.